All right, so this is the mini series of the Logan and Ethan Shit Show podcast. We are bringing this as a YouTube exclusive, sort of little review side of our channel, I guess is how you want to say it.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about different kinds of movies, different kinds of music, video games, anything else that we can review. We wanted to make this an unbiased review that isn't coming from something like IGN. Because I know I for sure don't. I don't think Logan does, but we don't shave anybody's asses with our mouths, unlike IGN.
Yeah.
So that's where we want this review to come from.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we don't take money for good or bad reviews. So.
Yeah, this is so we're not getting any money from anybody doing this review, so you don't have to worry about that.
The whole idea of this series is just to leave it completely unscripted and just give honest feedback.
Yeah. So enjoy the review. All right, so this is the first episode on a little mini series, I guess, that this show is going to be doing. If you are followers of this show or have been, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. For the most part, this is a strictly podcast only show that we've started, but we decided to do a little YouTube exclusive. Just a little fun little thing that we're going to start doing movie reviews, video game, maybe even songs or albums that artists come out with.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be a strict schedule because our podcast is every Friday. This isn't going to be like a certain...
Yeah.
It'll come when it comes type of thing.
It might also be like reactions and, a little bit of anything, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So anyway, for the first episode of this little mini series that we're gonna do is we're gonna be reviewing and talking about the new Conjuring movie that came out in June of 2021. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Yeah. So Logan's gonna give his first impressions. This is kind of like a little experiment thing. We're going to see how this goes and how the format goes. So Logan's going to give his first impression. I'll give mine, and then we'll start breaking down a couple of things.
Yeah. So to get started with me, it's kind of good that we're both here because when it comes to like horror movies, I'm not like I don't hate them, but I'm not like I don't like watch them religiously.
Yeah.
And so like my point of view from just like the average Joe that would go to the theaters or just pull it up on the TV and watch it. I'd say it was pretty fucking good because, like, we talked about it a little bit, but I like how it started, like, right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all know the horror movies that it's, like, fucking dreary, and then something crazy happens and it's over.
That's it.
So, yeah, it's kind of fun. They did it, like, opposite. I mean, obviously there were some dull moments that were slower, obviously. It's not an action movie, but, no, I think it was really well laid out.
All right. And then, so I should also mention, Logan went and saw this in the movie theater about a week ago, right?
Yeah, about a week ago.
And I recently just watched it. Well, and Logan pretty much watched it almost all with me last night, too. But
yeah,
I just watched it on HBO. I wanted to go to the theaters, but the timing isn't working out. So, and honestly, if I can make it to the theaters, I wouldn't mind paying for another... like to see it again.
Oh, okay.
I want to see it in the fucking like RPX, bro.
Yeah.
Like something crazy because and that leads me to like my fucking first overall view of it. I think it was phenomenal. I thought it was fucking great.
It was nice in the theaters how like the walls were rumbling and shit. Like,
yeah, and I mean we fixed it on the HBO shit because at first, remember, it was like it was one of those movies where it was really, really, really quiet and soft, and then it would get fucking loud.
Yeah. When the demon comes out, it's like, wow.
Yeah, fucking shaking my apartment walls. But
yeah.
No, we figured HBO has that like little leveling thing. Was that what it's called?
Auto leveling. Yeah.
So I feel like that'd be cool to see it in theaters, not have to worry about that. Just fucking blast it. But anyway, coming from somebody that more than half of my physical media collection is horror, whether that's movies or vinyls. I have a bunch of horror soundtracks that are on vinyl too. I thought it was great, and I was kind of I don't like looking at reviews before watching something because if I want to see something, I want to fucking see it.
Right.
I don't want to I don't care about reviews, but I saw so many negatives about this movie, dude.
Yeah.
Like on all my Facebook groups I'm in and shit, and just like seeing random shit about it. It's like why you shouldn't watch the new Conjuring, and I was like, damn, it's really that bad?
If you guys are avid podcast listeners, I think we touched on it in one of the episodes, but it's just all fucking money.
Yeah.
Money and like, what's the word? The fucking the herd mentality.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
No, you're all good. But anyway, I think at the end of the show we're gonna kind of do like a little point percentage verdict, right?
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Yeah.
So that I'm not gonna spoil that at the start of this video. But anyway, as you guys heard in the intro, whenever we do get to spoilers, you'll see a picture of either our profile picture or a character from the movie or thing that we're reviewing go to the other side of the screen. How a lot of people do it, so that way you guys, if you guys don't want to hear spoilers, you don't have to. I think now at this point though, we're gonna go do a little plot summary, right? All right. So The Conjuring: The Devil Made Me Do It is the 8th installment of the Conjuring universe. It is technically the 3rd Conjuring movie. They have Conjuring 1, 2, but this one isn't 3, so I don't know. Maybe it's not the 3rd. Anyway, it's the 8th installment of the whole universe, and I think before I get doing too into this plot summary thing, we're gonna review almost all of these or review them all as a whole, right?
Right. Yeah.
So this will kind of play into that as well. But to start off, I don't necessarily think that you had to know the plots of the other movies before seeing this one.
No. Yeah. No.
But I think that did help. Because there
Yeah.
was shit where I would be like, oh, and I remember that like this happened in one of the other ones, and then
Right.
yeah. So that before I started the plot summary, I do think it is. I mean, to me, I would want to see the other ones before I viewed this one, just because
Yeah.
But anyway, we start off the movie, and I don't even know where it's at. It's like New Hampshire or something, right?
Yeah. And
It's like New Jersey or something.
Yeah.
It's like on the East Coast somewhere.
yeah, big in the East and big in the West.
We start off on the East Coast, some fucking like farm wood house, some fucking house that's surrounded by a bunch of trees.
Yeah.
And the movie starts off fucking intense, bro.
They went for it.
Yeah, it's like straight into just a fucking bam.
Yeah.
So you get straight into a possession of what?
Oh, we gonna exercise the fuck out of you, basically. Yeah.
I forgot the little kid's name. It's David something. Fuck. David something. The little kid's name is David. Starts with a G, I think. It's like David and yeah, we see him do some fucking. Oh, dude, that fucking table scene.
That was pretty gnarly.
He was like twisting under his arms and shit. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, that's the king of Twister right there. But no, anyway, we start off the movie with that fucking crazy ass possession. And then I won't hit every single major plot point, but this one is pretty important to note.
We can go back to the crazy ones after the spoilers. Or during the spoilers section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, following after that, a bunch of stuff happens. We'll get about in the spoiler section. Following after that, we see Ed and Lorraine, which Ed has a new series of troubles that you'll see in the movie. If you want to go to the spoilers, we'll talk about that. But Ed and Lorraine Warren, because of how they obviously are trying to help this dude. What's interesting about this movie, though, is that the whole basis of the whole plot is based upon the judicial system, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they're trying to say if God is in the courts, because you know how in God we trust, and you put your hand on the Bible and all that shit.
Yeah.
Then the devil should also be considered for somebody that kills somebody or did whatever. So that's like the whole like thing that's turning the plot. As you watch the movie, that's what you're going to be thinking about.
Right.
And anyway, you see the main character. He thinks that he's fine, ends up not being fine.
Yeah.
You have Lorraine doing her psychic shit that she's done in the other movies, but she's actually like helping progress this fucking case.
Right.
She's like tying points together and seeing like visions of other shit that's been happening that ties to it. Pretty sick. And then some point during the movie, you'll see like that where this comes from. It's not just a haunted house like the other ones have been. It's not just a haunted person. It's actually something a lot bigger that we'll talk about in the spoiler section.
Yeah.
But That's about halfway through the movie. You start to realize that. The second latter half of the movie is full of a bunch of twists that, again, we'll talk about more in the spoiler section. But
did you think they were predictable?
I thought some of them were, but
yeah,
even if a twist is predictable, if they execute it right, I still think it's effective.
Right, yeah.
Like, even if I expect it, if they do it in a way, I'm like, oh, damn, I expected that, but damn, they showed it like that.
It's not like this Scooby-Doo cartoon where, like, the fucking first motherfucker to come into the screen that's not a main cast is the fucking enemy, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sick. Yeah. And honestly, I'll talk about that in the spoilers, but... yeah, and then as the movie progresses and everything, we see that Ed and Lorraine starting to get attacked personally. They start taking that fight to whatever it is that's attacking them. They start to bring that fight to that thing. That's a pretty general plot review.
Yeah.
I will say I'll say that's for the spoilers. But anyway, for those of you that don't want a spoiler thing, that was probably pretty shitty. But I'm sure you could find better. But anyway, that's a Logan Ethan shit show right there. That's just how I did it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much like the whole basis of the plot, and it really is like based upon the question of why can God be allowed in the judicial system but not the devil.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
And the whole goal, this is off topic, just like the Logan Ethan shit show, but the whole goal of this series that we're starting is to just kind of spitball some shit. Like, there's no scripts. There's not even any fucking bullet points. We're just talking.
Yeah.
It's not like IGN with a pocket full of fucking cash from the fucking producer. Just fucking, it was great.
And they have like a team of writers and shit.
Yeah. Or they didn't pay me enough, so it was fucking trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of what our thought process was when brainstorming this new concept.
Yeah, and for those of you that, well, obviously you're only going to be hearing this on YouTube, but this is going to be a YouTube exclusive thing before we move on to the next section.
Yeah.
This is going to be only to YouTube. We're not going to post this shit on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everything else that we're on.
And it's not going to be, and to the people that are on YouTube, in the description you can see where to find our actual podcast. But our podcast is on YouTube as well. If you like looking at our ugly mugs, I don't know who the fuck would, but that's besides the point.
No, just kidding. All right, shall we go to the spoiler section then?
All right, so now as you can see, I'm thinking I'm going to use a picture of the possessed
Arnie
fella.
Arnie Grape, no. Sorry, Arnie Johnson.
He's moved to the other side of the screen, so you know what that means. We finna spoil the whole damn movie. Actually, if we're good enough at doing this, you wouldn't even have to watch the movie. That's how good we're finna do this.
All right.
So basically, as Ethan said, the table exorcism didn't really go as planned. But then Arnie, which is the boyfriend of the little boy's sister,
pretty much his brother-in-law, yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. Like he kind of like inserted himself into the family well. He wasn't weird or nothing like I am with my girl's family. But that's besides the point. So yeah, the exorcism didn't go as planned, and Arnie fucking grabbed that fella, and he's all, "Give it to me."
Yeah, I forgot what he said. He's like, "Take me instead" or something.
Yeah, and then at first when I was watching, I was like, I thought I was gonna watch him get his fucking throat slit or something, and then that was kind of another like twist. I wasn't expecting that personally. It actually did take him. And exited the little boy and went into him. That did not sound right, but anyway.
Well, but before you go on, I think that's what ties the end to the beginning, though, is because I think that whenever you see the demon, like, realize like what Arnie's saying, and you see how we'll talk about like this curse and shit. In order for the curse to be complete, they needed another person. So instead of like having to they'll go through the work of finding another person, this dude was just like, "Take me."
Yeah.
So that dude was like, "Well, fuck it then." That fucking demon was just like, "Oh, that was easy." All
yeah,
right,
I bet.
Go ahead and go on in there.
No cap.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. After that, he started. And the fucked up thing is when he took it from the little boy, the only dude that saw it was Ed, and the little boy had jumped on him while he was possessed, and he was like, "I'm gonna snap your fucking heart." That's pretty good representation. And then it didn't visibly show like him go into the chest, but Ed got knocked the fuck out, and he was down for the count. But he's the only one that watched Arnie fucking take it from him. And so Ed was in the hospital, and everybody thought everybody was all hunky dory.
Yeah, everybody was chilling. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he went to the hospital for heart issues.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then he finally woke up in the hospital, and then he's like, it has already hurry.
Yeah, and that's whenever you see Arnie fucking so you start seeing I don't even know, dude. That shit was pretty crazy how they did it.
He slowly starts to fucking lose his mind, and that's why I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this movie compared to other horror movies, because I mentioned it in the other podcast after I'd watched it, but I really enjoyed how it was a human that was like cursing people, and it's not your typical horror movie where it's just spirits fucking with people.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying in the spoiler-free section. Like
Right,
it's
yeah.
more it's like it's not just a haunted house.
Right? Yeah.
Or even it's not just about a possessed person.
Yeah.
It's about something a lot bigger. And I think that they pulled it off pretty well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's whenever you see Arnie fucking kill his girlfriend's boss. I guess it was his friend or something. I don't know. I don't really.
Cause,
To me, it looked like they were like friends or something.
so they were living there.
Oh, okay. That was like his landlord. Okay.
Yeah, because they were living there rent free, was my understanding, and then it was a dog boarding clinic under their little apartment house thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was just a fucking crazy drunk. He didn't deserve to die, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, he was. I thought they were gonna make him like to be like a scummy person,
Yeah.
but they really didn't. I honestly felt bad for that dude. I was
Yeah.
like, no, that he didn't deserve
So,
that.
yeah, Arnie started seeing him,
Fucking his girl, yeah.
yeah, as like a crazy fucking demon looking fuck, even though he wasn't. It was just the way that bitch was like possessing him
Yeah.
or cursing him, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he stabbed him like it was like fucking 23 times or something.
Yeah, something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then at that point, Arnie obviously goes to jail. He's on trial. The Ed and Lorraine Warren, that's whenever you get like the famous, or not famous line of the movie, I guess, but like the overall line of the movie that I think captures the movie perfectly is whenever Ed is telling Arnie's defense lawyer, if we have God in the judicial system, I think it's about time that we introduce the devil. And that lady's like, no, you guys are fucking stupid. And then he's just like, well, come have dinner at our house. We'll show you
Yeah.
Annabelle. He literally said that.
Yeah.
We'll introduce you to Annabelle. And then it just shows the next scene where Arnie's sitting in the fucking courtroom and the judges just has like this fucking stare of death, bro.
Yeah.
She like slowly stands up. She's like, we plead not guilty.
by they said like by order of possession or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the fucking judge was like,
Okay. Yeah.
"You fucking-"
Which is understandable, even after
Yeah.
what he said. I mean, it's
yeah.
because the whole thing is if that happened, then everybody would just say, "Oh, I was possessed
Yeah.
when I fucking raped that woman."
Yeah. But anyway, at that point, I'm trying to remember the exact spot that it goes to. I'm not gonna go through the whole fucking movie, but everything starts to come together. Ed and Lorraine Warren start to, actually try to help this dude. They end up finding a pastor out in the boonies. He's on like a farm.
Yeah.
They try to shake his hand. He has chicken shit on him. So
He was a pretty good character.
yeah, he was pretty chill. Anyway, come to find out, they like the house that they were living in was actually cursed by somebody. We don't know at this point yet.
Right.
It was cursed by somebody that's working in the satanic cult type shit. And they placed like some, I don't know what the fuck to call it, I don't know, like a relic or something
Right,
made of
yeah.
like bones and shit under
Yeah.
their house.
Some shit off of an album cover.
Metal
of a
album
metal-
cover, yeah. Yeah, they placed that shit under the house that little kid was living in, or that they moved to.
Right.
And then so that's whenever you start to realize, like, damn, this isn't really like a ghost. It's like a fucking some crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
So Ed and Lorraine Warren start to investigate it. They find some place in some other part of the East Coast to go to that they found another murder that had happened
And it
that
was
was
like
based on, like, they had that same thing there.
Yeah, it was like 22 stabs, and then
Yeah.
yeah, and then Lorraine went and used her fucking cuckoo abilities, and
Yeah.
she like put herself in the moment,
Yeah.
and then
That's whenever we see the girl, like the antagonist, the bad,
Right.
the bad chick.
yeah,
That's whenever you see her because Lorraine sees her in like her fucking psychic shit, whatever.
yeah, and then they went to the they followed her there, and then they discovered that her body was in the river, and then the cops fucking searched the river and they found the body, and then they brought the body to a morgue, and then Lorraine and Ed fucking broke into that shit, and that was a pretty good scene.
Yeah.
She was holding the dead girl's hand to like connect with her, to like see what was going on, and that's where she figured out that the main antagonist like could do the same thing she could do, basically, and so it was kind of fucked.
Yeah, and that part, well, first I want to say that they brought the boomer back from Left 4 Dead in there,
and Tekashi 6ix9ine was
the
in
rat.
that fucking movie. Yeah,
but what the fuck was I gonna say?
Sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say that scene was sick. Whenever Lorraine saw that chick and like told her to stop whenever she was making Arnie cut his wrist. And then Lorraine said to stop, and that girl was like, "How are you doing this?" And Lorraine said, like, my God has given me this gift.
yeah.
And then that chick, it was so sick, bro. She was like, "Well, then your God has damned you." And it was all...
Yeah.
That's whenever the fucking lights went out and shit. I was like, oh.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking gnarly.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. And then following that... Ed fucking has like another heart issue thing, so he's passed out. He wakes up in his house, realizes that somebody broke into his house. They come to find out that fucking lady sent him a flower vase with one of those little curse relics in there.
Yeah.
So then Ed and Lorraine were cursed. Well, Ed.
Which that's a minor complaint about that movie. Ethan said it first, but it's a pretty decent sized relic, and it was in this like medium sized vase.
Funny. I was like, how did they get in there? That's fucking bones. It's not like a piece of rubber.
Well, the
it's
thing I
like
think is that bitch is just like
crafting.
She's a sculptor too. Yeah, she just fucking
she crafts the fucking pipe.
What do you call it? Throwing? Yeah, she threw it over the fucking.
No, it was whatever.
Yeah, there was a few things that I feel like weren't thought about. Like that was one of them, and then another part where the Arnie's girlfriend's parents, like literally after the first like quarter of the movie, they just straight disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that pros and cons after.
Yeah,
and then so that'll be like spoiler free as well. So that way. Anyway, after Ed and Lorraine find out that they were cursed, Lorraine has this sudden thing of just like, wait a second, that fucking creepy ass dude. Well, not the creepy dude, but that dude that lives all alone in that fucking farm. He's looking a little sketch. So she goes over there by herself because Ed is sick. Come to find out, it's that dude's fucking daughter. So that's kind of like the twist of the whole movie. It's like the one dude that like knew about everything. It's his daughter that's fucking doing it.
His wife, I guess, died at childbirth.
Yeah.
And he didn't want the church to know. So he raised her in secret. And then she just turned into a batshit crazy fucking lady.
Yeah. And then it happens under the tunnel. She was doing all that shit under his house in like a tunnel system.
Yeah.
Ed shows up, gets possessed. You think he's trying to kill fucking Lorraine with a sledgehammer. It's pretty crazy. And then, it's kind of corny how it is, but Ed and Lorraine's love is the one thing that made Ed snap out of it for a split second, just enough to break the casting table.
Yeah, the altar.
Yeah. The casting couch, and just enough to break the casting couch with the sledgehammer, and then that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
It shows them kissing, and then Ed takes Lorraine to like the spot where they first kissed or something, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like some gazebo, and they kiss again, and then Lorraine said some cringy shit. I mean, it was okay, but she was just like I forgot how she said it. She's like, she thinks our weakness is our love, but we have to prove to her that our love is actually our biggest strength. Something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, this Lifetime movie's sick.
And then there was a running joke where Ed kept forgetting his pills, and so at the end of the movie, she had one in her little heart locket.
Yeah, the locket with their picture in it whenever they first had their first date. Yeah. But anyway, that was kind of a lot. It was kind of a long movie. It had a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
But that's the spoil included plot summary.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than the other one. We start going into names and all that shit. I think we'll start getting into some pros and cons and get this thing moving on here.
I don't know. I guess to start with the pros, I'd say, like I mentioned earlier, I think it was nice that they actually added like a human antagonist for once. Because to my knowledge, all the other ones were all just like spiritual.
Yeah.
I'm going to say mumbo jumbo, but that's not what I mean. You know, like you kind of got to use your imagination for a little bit of it. But this was a little more realistic. And it's arguable that the whole thing is realistic, but just the point, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the cinematography and just the way they filmed it was really, really good.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. Overall, I think it was a great movie.
So, all right, I'll list my pros in, and then you can do your cons, and I'll do my cons.
All right.
All right, sorry, this is the first time doing this. We're breaking out the kinks. So my pros with it, coming from somebody like I've seen a lot of horror movies and I've seen all the Conjurings. Well, besides the Curse of La Llorona, I haven't seen that one yet. I didn't even really know that was part of the Conjuring, to be honest.
I didn't even. This is gonna sound cringy, but I didn't even know Annabelle was a part of it either. I didn't really know it was all together until I saw this shit on YouTube.
Yeah, I knew Annabelle was, but that's just because in the Annabelle movies, Ed and Lorraine Warren are there. So
Right.
I already knew that was, but the Curse of I don't know. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. My pros with it. I think I have to agree with Logan, the cinematography, but I think the fucking sound was sick.
Yeah.
Like whenever, and not only at the table exorcism, but whenever Arnie at the end was getting fucking flying up in the air and shit, the fucking sounds of the bones popping out of place, bro, that shit was cringy. It was making me like, ooh, because it was like,
Yeah.
it's like, damn, the fuck. So I thought that it was like a really visually perfect and audio perfect thing. And if you listen to our podcast, I'm kind of an audio whore. I like sound.
Yeah.
I just like all that type of shit and learning about decibels and all that shit. So that was pretty. I like that aspect to it. But I think one of the cons to me, and this kind of, I think it's kind of cool that we differ on this, in my opinion. But one of the cons to me was that it was so heavily focused on a human antagonist.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, I thought it was cool, but at the same time, like, whenever I watch like a ghost movie or a demonic possession movie, like I don't really want there. I don't want to think about it being the result of a human doing it. I kind of like the idea of not knowing like what the fuck's going on, like where this thing's coming from, what it's doing, what its goal is. Yeah. I mean, it was cool to see it that way. Like, you know, you were seeing like what this chick was trying to do and how she was going to do it and all that. But I kind of like that unknowing spot of the horror movies where it's like, damn, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, I guess I agree with you, but also at the same time, I just I feel like that's how every horror movie is. So I like how they kind of like switch it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a classic kind of dude. I kind of like whenever horror movies like follow like the horror shit. But oh, that was one of my cons. Sorry. I went there too fast. But as far as the pros go though, like besides like the story and the cinematography and the audio, I think another one of the biggest pros that I have for that whole movie is how like detailed it was.
Right.
Like it was sick. And I like, and this is such like a little thing to pinpoint, but like even at the start of the end of the credits, like it shows like actual pictures of Ed and the fucking Warrens and all that shit. Yeah. And then it has like the audio from the supposed exorcism that happened in real life. Yeah. And I thought that was sick. Yeah. I fucking loved how they tied it in. And like the ending was great, I think. I like the fucking dead corpse shit and all that. So
it was all legit. A nice bundled in masterpiece because it kept like cutting to like Arnie and then back to Lorraine and then back to Ed.
Yeah. That's pretty sick.
It ended up all like just merging together. It didn't leave you asking any questions. So
yeah. All right, so what are some of your cons over there?
My cons really are just like nitpicky little shit. Like I mentioned earlier, the girl's parents just like straight vanished. I just feel like it could have been like a 10-second like scene. Like, hey, we're going on a vacation. Yeah. And then it would have made more sense. But I was thinking about that the whole movie. I was like, where the fuck? And again, it doesn't matter. But I was like, where the fuck did they go? Yeah. And the daughter was of age and shit, but it was their house, the parents' house. Yeah. So I was like, okay, damn, I guess they got a free house out of it. And I know you were saying they probably just, you know, their son was all good, so they're like, later. But yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I can see what you're saying.
And then another one of my cons would, well, I mean, it's not really a con, but just how, like, the ex-priest, it was his daughter. Like, I knew he had something to do with it. Like,
yeah, so it's predictable, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Honestly, like, as far as cons go, are you finished? Do you have any other ones besides the vase thing?
Yeah, no, we already talked about that. Yeah, I don't think so.
All right, yeah. I honestly, like, besides what I had already said, and that's not like that didn't ruin the movie for me, but that was probably like my only con with the movie that I can think of. The vase? No. Oh. How it was like a lot of human shit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
How it was. I mean, there was still spiritual shit involved, but it was more geared towards human interaction than it was like spiritual.
Right.
So that's kind of like that was kind of a con for me, but it didn't ruin the movie for me. I still thought it was great.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that's the only con that I have, because I didn't even think about the parent thing until you texted me about it. I was like, oh, I don't know. Dude.
I'm just weird like that though, like because I was like, where the fuck are they?
Yeah, the only thing that happened in that movie where I caught it, I was like, where the fuck? How the fuck did they get that shit in the vase?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
It's like that shit's fucking bones and it's all like long and shit. Yeah, I think overall though, like the pros heavily outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
I think for sure.
I'd probably give it like a solid 8.
No, I kind of thought you'd go a little bit higher.
No, I mean, because at the end of the day, it was just a horror movie. I don't know. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm not really like a horror fan, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just another horror. It didn't really do anything that like made it any better than a regular horror movie, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, it was a movie filled with beautiful cinematography. It was a great plot. I think the characters are really sick. The CGI was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Everything kind of blended together perfectly. I like how they did have some aspects of the movie that connected to the other Conjurings.
Right.
I think it was a great movie, honestly, and I think I would honestly give it like a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay. Where's the 0.5 from?
The 0.5 that's missing?
Yeah.
Just that I don't really like the human thing.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
I mean, they pulled it off good. I feel like if it was a different movie, I wouldn't have liked it.
Right.
But because of it was The Conjuring, it was pretty sick. Coming from like the horror community, The Conjuring is considered like the Conjuring series is considered like the Honda Civic of the horror genre.
Yeah.
It's like that's like mainstream
Because
shit that 13-year-old dudes take their girlfriends out to see.
because you watch like the
underground,
the B-roll,
yeah.
Whatever it's called, yeah.
Yeah, I watch some deep dark shit sometimes.
Right,
so
yeah.
I've seen a lot, but I mean, considering that this is like a mainstream, like not even that heavily like super intense, scary. Like I feel like did a great job.
Right, because the series at the 8th entry, they could have very well turned into Disney by now.
Oh
and
yeah,
just started slapping their titles on shit and calling it a day. But,
yeah.
And obviously they're still in it for the money, but I feel like they're actually putting time and effort into it.
Oh no, they definitely are.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
Yeah.
I don't have any. I didn't really have any major complaints.
Yeah, neither do I.
That's why I give it a 9.5.
Just little nitpicky shit. But, all right. Well, I hope you guys like this new format. We'll first time, so we'll
continue this. We might not do as a detailed review of the other Conjuring movies, but me and Logan kind of talked about it last night. It would be kind of cool to like do like a whole series as it is right now. Like
yeah.
And I wouldn't do a fucking plot summary of whenever if we do that, but just like as a general thing of like the Conjuring and like where it is, because it is such a huge thing. Like people that don't like horror movies like you still see them because they are like geared more for like everybody.
Yeah, that's what they're going for, and they succeeded. So.
Yeah, it's not just for horror fans. It's for literally everybody, and that's so it's pretty sick.
Yeah,
it would be a pretty cool thing to like break down and discuss like the whole series as like a whole.
Right,
it'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys liked what you saw in this video, definitely check out our podcast.
Yeah, you might. It's not for everybody, but
yeah, we talk about a lot of different shit. We do talk about movies and shit. Almost every episode, we give a little like
a little something.
Like there's like a 10-minute part where we just talk about the movies we've seen or the shows that we're watching or
either way
shows that are coming.
We hope to make it entertaining.
Yeah, and then the other side, I don't even know. This is why the show is called Logan Ethan Shit Show. We don't. It goes from like the last episode that we did went from car audio to fucking talking about. I forgot what we talked about. So,
yeah.
So there we go. But anyway.
All right.
All right. So thank you for viewing that episode of the mini series of the Logan Ethan Shit Show podcast. If you liked that, we have plenty of other content that comes out to loads of streaming services that we link down in the description. We are on big platforms such as Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, all that type of shit. So if you liked what you heard in this review, go check out our other podcast episodes where we talk about Anything and everything.
And if you made it this far, congratulations.